Yeah, so I think, this is the beautiful thing about coaching people, right? When you actually start understanding people and you know what their work-life balance is and how stressful times can be, because sometimes like everybody, we have normal weeks where everything's just in flow and it's fine, and we can religiously follow a plan and we don't need to think about it. But when life gets tough and things, really juggle, and it's something I've literally just done with one of the ladies that I coach yesterday, everything suddenly literally pivoted for her. And I sat down and said, right, okay, look, we know we need to do this, and this is where you're going next year. But right now, throwing this on top of you is a really bad idea. You're going to basically crumble, and something will give, and I don't want it to be you. So we juggled around her training to make sure that she's specific, but also has the flexibility to make decisions on her own. And also, I made sure that, just chatting to her because I know her quite well, so when we know at the weekends you need to spend time with your partner. So it's like, this is religious. Every day, every Saturday, you have a partner day, and it doesn't break. I don't care what happens. You must have some time for you. So yeah, I think sometimes people follow plans too religiously, and that's the great thing about having a coach, and you'll know this yourself. It's like, if you develop a decent relationship with the people that you work with, if you've educated them and supported them in the right way, they will understand your way of thinking, and therefore they'll be a bit more relaxed in their thought process. Well, I can't do this today. I can slide it to tomorrow. I know Neil won't worry about it. I know Simon won't worry about it because I'm choosing to do the right thing for my health, my mental health, and I think that's really important, and that's good coaching at the end of the day. It's just making sure people are making good decisions.
Yeah. And with your training yourself, obviously you like to ride out on the bike all the time in all weathers. What's your relationship with indoor training? How do you utilize that yourself, but also prescribe that for your clients as well?
I do.
Benefits
So
you feel?
yeah, okay. So in the summer months and spring months, when the weather's decent, if I can get out in the morning and it's dry and the weather's good, I can, because I use power meters and everything else like that, I can go out and do my training sessions outside. I will always do that. I'll always go outside if I can. But in the winter months, when I know it's dark and cold, and so last year's a classic example, I did a block of very specific training from the end of October right through to Christmas, and then again from January right through to the first part of February, because I was going away for a week and I wanted to be in really good shape to post a decent time for when I was away in Gran Canaria up some of the climbs. So I wanted to be strong for that. So I had this goal in mind. So all the turbo training stuff that I was doing was very specific and grew over time. So my thought process on turbo training is that you repeat sessions and you learn from them and then you move on. I think a lot of coaches tend to think, I need to make this interesting and can increase it all the time. And then there are cyclists, athletes, never really truly understand or learn what that session is creating for them is in terms of power output, cadence, all that sort of stuff. So it's like, well, if we do this, then that all the data coming back is actually giving us the right information that we need. So yeah, 100%. I use the turbo over the winter months because it's perfect. It's very specific. I can look at the data, I can look at the power, look at the heart rate, retest, test, say this is working. So I use it specifically for winter training, but I also still get outside. So I'm religious with 2 training sessions a week on the turbo, and then everything else of that, if I can, I'll go outside.
Yeah. There's nothing you can't beat than being out in the fresh air and enjoying the beautiful countryside on the bike, is there? So that's good.
Yeah, being in the UK though, we're just again because the days are short. Winter months, it's tougher to juggle that. Well, and again, I'll say this brings the time. Turbo trainers are there for that time of year, right? They're there to keep you fit and focused, and potentially, your summer cycling is built over the winter. And I definitely disagree with people who say, "Oh, I just do long, steady miles over the winter." It's like, well, I don't think you're doing yourself a good service if you're doing it that way. So, yeah, 100% turbo is very effective.
What do you say? Would you see the biggest mistakes people making during their winter training, or if that some people don't even do as much training during the winter because they, have had a big year on the bike in the summer and will just want to sort of ease off a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, again, it all really depends on where they are as a cyclist, what history they've had. But let's just assume that they are relatively fit. I think the biggest mistake I see a lot of people going into the winter is they drop volume, and they either do too much intensity or not enough, and too much of the wrong kind of intensity training to develop an engine, so they never really grow from it. So they're just hitting the same stuff week in, week out, never actually asking themselves the question, is this working? Is it delivering the result that I want? And then the other thing I think a lot of people don't do, and they should, is they should hit the gym. And I think they should be hitting the gym all year round, but winter months is a great time to build power and strength. So yeah, I mean, for the most part, I think the biggest issue is, especially people as they get older, they feel like they don't need to do so much intensity and they just ride steady everywhere. And if you look at the science and understanding of what happens to you as you get older, in my book, it's completely opposite. You need to be very specific, and you need to work on some intensity to make sure you don't lose what you had when you were younger.
Yeah. And essentially, strength training plays a massive role in that. I'm a really big fan of it, and really prescribe that with my clients. And obviously, I can see you're very passionate, and from your social media and YouTube, you really sort of focus on that as well. How have you noticed the benefits of strength training? Obviously, you've come from a strength training background predominantly within your career. How have you noticed that particularly helping you in the world of cycling?
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, I think it's that compounding effect of consistently doing it over time. And obviously, I'm tweaking things and learning new things all the time. So I think with the strength training that I've got, especially for the long distance side of things, when things get tough, so if I go and ride 200 miles on a ride, what I've noticed is in the latter stages of that 200 mile, I'm still able to hold good power. My heart rate's low, and I'm super efficient. And it almost gets that feeling when I'm riding the longer rides is after 100 miles, I feel like I've just kind of warmed up, even though I'm still riding strong in the first 100. Second 100, I'm in my groove now. And I think that, yes, it's down to what I do on the bike and in training and how I'm eating and fueling. But 100%, I'll say what's made the difference over the last 3-4 years is that compound effect of just consistently hitting the gym and doing the work on that front. When it comes to power, last year I decided that I'd switch a few things up, and I'm switching a few things up again this winter, but last year I decided I'd put some plyometrics in, because I wanted to try and hit the short twitch muscle fibers and be a bit more reactive. And I think, along with all the specific training I've been doing on the bike, that's helped me push better power for shorter distances. So again, cracking up Sark Labour in 31 minutes and 33 seconds at the age of 52, that's, it's not bad. It's not a bad time. Yeah, and I put that down to bike training as well as strength training and the plyometrics, because it just allows you to it puts you in that headspace that you can, and it also puts you in that physical space where you can really delve deep if you need to.
Yeah. Is there real research now coming out about there's more high intensity efforts, isn't it, in the gym, and sort of really heavy weight but low reps in terms of really focusing on power, because that will also contribute to strength as well, because a lot of people will probably feel that just doing the typical 10 reps or 3 times 10 is going to be sufficient, but obviously it's not going to really grow and improve their muscle mass and explosive power as, I suppose, in a more linear, sort of consistent way.
I think the biggest
steady. Yeah.
Yeah, the biggest path of resistance I see is people as they get older feeling like they need to maybe do slightly less or more yoga-y style body weight training. As much as that will condition you, it won't give you the desired response. You need to, if you really want to be in great shape as you get older, you need to work the muscle in a way that's going to stimulate it to be strong. And a lot of people maybe listening to this might disagree, or maybe like that's not what they've been told. But when you, again, and you're right, when you look at the science, if you really think about how the body works and how over time we degrade as we get older, then by training the muscle that we know, so short twitch muscle fibers, in a way that we can regain that back and mitigate any decline over time, requires you to lift heavier, requires you to do a bit more active work, and body weight work just doesn't cut it. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm used to say put that in as auxiliary, so do some yoga style training and things of that nature, some Pilates, definitely great. But if you really want to see changes in how you are in your physicality, you need to be lifting heavy and you need to be lifting reactively. And I'll say it billions of times to the people that I coach. So some of the guys that come on board who've never done strength training have posted their fastest times ever up places like Alpe d'Huez. And they will all say, yes, the training they do in the bikes worked, but the strength training has been a game changer in their ability to really delve deep. Yeah. Plus, it also makes you look good, right? Yeah. And that's the other thing I talk about a lot. It's like, I'm 52 and I'm in good shape, and I good muscle tone, and makes you look younger. Makes you move younger, and if you move younger, you think better. You just feel better all round. So, benefits of everything off the back of it is huge. And this is the whole thing about Velo. It's not just about riding bikes. It's about being in your best shape that you can be and ride bikes. So ride bikes fun. Let's be in good shape.